distinguished heads of governments, distinguished heads of states, of course, dear partners and friends of the World Economic Forum, a very cordial welcome to the annual meeting 2022 in the spring of Davos. We are very glad to be together again in person. And of course, we have a very rich program. The theme of our coming together is history at a turning point. Government policies, corporate strategies. We will focus the program mainly on 4 different areas. First, the war in Ukraine, the aggression on Ukraine. And I have the particular pleasure to welcome a very strong delegation from Ukraine among us, composed by members of the government, composed by members of the parliament, by the mayor of Kiev and his brother and other mayors, and of course also by the young generation. Can I ask all our participants from Ukraine to stand up and to give them a special welcome? This war is really a turning point of history, and it will reshape our political and our economic landscape in the coming years. But we also are at the tail end of the most serious health catastrophe of the last 100 years, COVID-19, and we have to reinforce our resilience against a new virus possibly, or other risks which we have on the global agenda. We also have to address urgently the issue of climate change and all the other issues related to the preservation of nature. And finally, we look at the future of the global economy with great concerns. Too high inflation, too low growth, too many. But what is particularly worrisome are the consequences, such as falling back of hundreds of millions of people again into poverty and possibly tens of millions of people dying of hunger. We have to be really concerned about those issues, and that's what we want to do here during this meeting. So how can Davos contribute to improving the state of the world? First, we know that all those challenges cannot be met by governments alone, by business alone, or by civil society alone. We need collaborative efforts. And the World Economic Forum here, Davos here, you here, I think it's the most impressive community for global cooperation. Second way of contributing to make this a better world is to look at all those issues in a holistic way. Political, economic, social, and ecological dimensions of every issue today are intertwined. So here we are, and you may ask, why do we have 400 sessions? It is to deal with all the aspects of our global system. And finally, when I looked at the short video, I was thinking, should we have an atmosphere of optimism or pessimism. I think we should be joyful and grateful that we can meet again here in person. It's so important because confidence can only be built by personal contact. But let's also be clear. The future is not just happening. The future is built by us, by a powerful community as you here in this room. We have the means to improve the state of the world, but two conditions are necessary. The first one is that we act all as stakeholders of larger communities, that we serve not our only self-interests, but we serve the community. That's what we call stakeholder responsibility. And second, that we collaborate. And this is the reason why you find many opportunities here during the meeting to engage into very action and impact-oriented initiatives to make progress related to specific issues on the global agenda. So I'm sure that we will have a very successful meeting by working together, and it's now my great pleasure to introduce the President of the Swiss Confederation, Ignacio Cassis. And I want to use this opportunity, Mr. President, to thank you for the great hospitality, for the cooperation we had with our host country since over 50 years to make this meeting possible in Davos. And I want to thank also the representatives of the canton of Graubünden and the authorities and the population of Davos. Thank you for your great hospitality here in this global village of Davos. Again, a very cordial welcome to all of you, but in addition, I should say at the end, and I spoke about the forum as a stakeholder community, I would like to, in addition to the political representatives, the forum is the International Organization for Public-Private Cooperation, so your presence, the heads of over 50 governments, the ministerial delegations, is so important. But I want to thank you also, our partners, our business partners. You have kept your loyalty to the forum despite the fact that we couldn't meet for quite some time. And I want to greet also the representatives of our young generation, which we have here, of our social entrepreneurs. So it's really the best mix to make progress in dealing with the issues on the global agenda.